Right, evening guys, welcome to the Hangout in the Crib.
Morning.
Today, just joined by Pain Train, who you all will probably know. We've also got Chris here. Chris is going to introduce himself. Alright, Chris.
Hey guys, my game name's Caius. I'm an admin with IAE, and I'm a level 80 player. And I probably paid Harbin's last car payment.
Cool.
Pointing.
So, as you can see, there's not very many of our usual suspects here tonight, so we've invited Chris on. Hopefully you might be seeing a little bit more of him soon. So
We're not allowed to have a show with just two men. It looks like a date otherwise.
Alright, so moving on.
Yeah, so basically we haven't got really a lot to talk about update-wise tonight. There's not really been a great deal happening. So what we're going to do is I've got just a couple of things which we can go. We've got some slides that the BP professor has given us, which we can go through quickly if I can find them. He can't join us tonight, he's on a family holiday, but there we go. So we'll just go through it. Basically, this week's update involved the Going Rogue campaign. So it's available this weekend, April 4th to the 5th. The prizes are Tier 1, Midnight Marauders, Tier 2, Fearless Blitzers, 3 is Irradiated Cutthroats, and 4 is Grease Monkeys. It's going to be pretty much the same as last time, I would have thought. So that's pretty much that. What's anybody got to say on that one?
I'm actually happy to see this time. I think the road crews are more useful than they have been in the past. The Fearless Blitzers, if anyone's using the new cannons, is obviously really useful. Cutthroats, considering uranium is the biggest part in the game, I would argue, is always useful. And that Grease Monkeys for the raid, that's just brilliant.
Yeah, that's cool. What do you think, Chris?
I can't say it any better than Rob did, man. I mean, he pretty much nailed it right on the head. It's a great little campaign. It's not too difficult for lower players, and great source of uranium, and those road crews are just some of the best ones you can get at this point.
Cool.
Have you got any tips, would you say, on how to hit these targets based on what we've already seen the last couple of months?
Well, I mean, basically, anything with Reavers in it, I like to use a Frosty just for the slow, just for the slow aspect of it. But if you don't have that, some slow cannons on your fleet will really help you out taking that damage when they blow up around you, that extra radiation damage. That's the worst part of the dredges, is when they blow up on you.
Yeah.
From what I've seen, Atlas Carriers works really well if they're ranked up. I've seen people using Frosty and V2 missile fleets with Bullseye. They just tear through them.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that if you don't want to have very much repairs, is you could even do them with zombie subs. It's probably going to take you a few hits to get it down, but if you don't want to spend anything and you don't want to have the repairs, it's always an option. If you haven't got any of the fleets that can do them for not a lot of damage. As always, Mastodon fleets are always going to be really nice for that as well. And don't forget that even if your Mastodons die, just zombie them up and stick them back in again, because they still fire when they ain't got no life. So I think that's pretty much all I've got to say on it. Has anybody else got anything else they want to add? I mean, to be honest, I think the only other thing that I really want to say is, try and get Tier 4 if you can, because that Grease Monkeys comes in very handy during the raid. Because it's like having a Midnight Marauders, and then you get the bonus of an hour and a half of repairs at half price. So during the raid, it's going to be quarter for the normal price. So definitely get that.
It's going to be a lot cheaper to pay to redo your Grease Monkeys than it is to coin your repairs,
Oh, for sure.
Was it like 60 on the Grease Monkeys? It's an expensive one, but, definitely worth it.
Oh, yeah. What is it, 60 gold?
Yeah, I think 60.
but you get an hour and a half. So in that hour, it's more tended to be useful for the coiners. But even non-coin, or even I would say lower level coiners who don't coin as much, in a raid, that's when these people try to, tend to coin a little bit more, don't they?
Yeah.
You see people saying they only coin raids, they don't coin ships and stuff. So hit as much as you can, and fix them as often as you can. Keep going out there if you are willing to coin. And remember, the 60 gold you spend to fix is often a hell of a lot less than the amount of coins you would have spent without the half repair.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially if you're hitting like the high level targets as well. If you're going out there with like a Grimzerk fleet to go and do the Reaver motherships like there was in the last raid, it's going to save you a hell of a lot of gold. Because I know that I was getting it down to sort of about 19 gold, but as a repair, obviously that will transpire into sort of 10 gold for if you've got the cutthroats on. The grease monkeys on. So that's always good.
Someone on chat saying, "Well, do you wonder why they're giving them away so easily? Obviously, the raid will be at least 2 times harder than the last time." I think it's natural. I think now you kind of expect raids to increase in difficulty every month, which is kind of something I've seen at least for a couple of years. But they have given away grease monkeys before a raid in the past, haven't they? 2 raids ago.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, I mean, admittedly, they did admit that they buffed the damage, but I think they did say that this time they were going to give everybody a bit of a break because it's like a week-long thing, and it's a whole raid. This raid coming up, but it's a whole raid with a difference. So you're going to have lots of fun, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. But,
I really think that Kixeye is actually doing these campaigns, like these going rogue campaigns and stuff, as an attempt to appease the masses, like to make us a little happier. You know what I mean? All we do is, the whole community's upset about times, build time, repair time, whatever. And this Grease Monkeys is just a way for them to, get a little bit extra coin to have people do it, of course. But I think it's a little bit of their way of giving back to us. Not enough, but a little bit.
Definitely. Right, should we move on to the next thing? I mean, there's not really a lot here. Changes, bug fixes, and tuning. Fixed a case where dredge fleet level restrictions could be bypassed by using a heavily damaged fleet. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how many people really hit 41s, to be honest.
I've never, in my whole history of Battle Pass, tried to hit a level 41.
So, no.
I can see what's coming next, and in anticipation, I'm going to screen share.
Yeah. So, corrected an issue with the uranium bar displayed.
No, look at my screen.
I can't see your screen.
That's not corrected.
Yeah, but uranium bar displayed in the resources section, blah blah blah. It might erroneously appear empty. Not fixed, as we can see. So that's that. And then an overnight maintenance, because when they came out of maintenance mode, there was a few issues. One was Alliance data was failing to be retrieved on Kixeye, resulted in the Alliance model being garbled, as well as a perpetual loading screen, which we all love when we're trying to open in dock. Sender of a premium gift was presented with a continuous loading screen. Gift was sent properly, recipient was uninfected, but it was a problem. And they managed to cock up their own link to their own website, so yeah, that's good. But I think that's pretty much all we've got on that one. So that's basically the week's updates done. So I'll stop sharing that. Just so you can see Rob's screen now, I've just switched across to that. You can see that the one that they said that they fixed there with it appearing empty. Yeah.
I'm getting you, Irv.
Yeah, apparently I don't have any uranium yet. It's 153k.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Not good. Fix it, Kixeye. Fix it.
Right, so basically then, since we've done the week's updates, because there wasn't really a lot to talk about this week, what we're going to do is we're going to go through a couple of builds involving the Arbalest cannon. Obviously, in the last raid, it was the prize alongside the Crusader, and we can see that it works really well. A lot of people have been asking about builds and stuff on various ships, so what we're going to do is we're just going to go through a couple. Who wants to kick off, or do you want me to kick off?
It's up to you. I've got one loaded in Huggies, but if you guys want to go,
Mine's already. It's up to you.
Go on then, Rob. If you want to start off, we'll go to you first.
Hope if I hit screen share, that'd be a start, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I've locked you in, so you're all good.
Oh, quick, get my face off there. Can you see your screen share? Yeah.
Should be.
See it?
yeah, you're up.
Cool. So I just want to say at the start, the reason that I've chosen this particular hull is because I reckon a lot of people out there have a Jug X fleet, which they probably used to use as a D92S base hitter. I don't know what you two think, but I don't think they're awfully good anymore. Certainly, if I see them in my base, I just laugh and just leave it to do its thing. And it's not really the biggest threat at the moment. Maybe in smaller bases, it could be useful, but in higher bases, it's not great. So this is taking into consideration the Highlander and 3 Jug X and using the new Monarch if you were lucky to get one, which I know a lot of people did because you only had to be ranked 65. So the Highlander is just blank. It has a Hailstorm or a Hellstorm even because it weighs less. Speed System 3, Guidance Scrambler. The only reason I've got these on, they don't really weigh anything. As you can see, it's 109, fits in the fleet. And it just means you can turn away a bit quicker and run. And if you do get fired at, you've got that chance of evade there with 58 evade. The Jug X's, most people, when they build the Jug X's, built them with almost all evade. So, full D5E. So you've still got 5 panels there, which means it's less of a refit. There's only 3 armor panels which change. That's 1 bulkhead to get your armor up to 25,732. And 2 D4Ms, which pushes your missile up to almost 70, so 68%. The reason I've done that is because this is going to be, the reason I made this fleet was for dredge hitting. So the main types of damage in a dredge, obviously, are ballistic missile and radiation. So you've got 73 ballistic, 68 missile, and 70 radiation. A lot of that coming from the Highlander. Now, I've opted for full Arbalests on this fleet. With 3 ships, all exactly the same. That's 15 Arbalests. That's going to tear through anything in that dredge really fast. You've got your nuclear accelerators, which gives you 84.5 range. Obviously not the same as a Crusader, but in PvE the range isn't as important, so you don't need to worry about that too much. 84.5 range is still decent when you're hitting a dredge. MC3 obviously boosts your necessary defenses there. 67.7% evade is also really good in the dredge. Between the stats there and the evade, it's, I would argue, a really good dredge here, and you've got a lot of armor on that, so you can hit multiple dredges as well.
Yeah, I think that would probably be boosted up if you've got your evade armor retroed. You probably boost that up to over 70.
Mine's,
evade, so.
I think at R15 it puts it at 73% evade. You'll notice I haven't got any retrofits. The reason I've done that is because I didn't want to assume people obviously retrofit different things. So this is assuming no retrofits. Any retrofits you've got, on your alloys, on your armors, it's going to boost these stats and make your fleet even better. And obviously the railguns will make your damage even better. So 3 of those. The Monarch, pretty much bare. It has a Hellstorm on, just stop it from moving. The reason I choose a Hellstorm over a Thud, just to make it a little bit easier to drive. If you click to all ships to target a ship or a turret, the Highlander here with its Hellstorm and the Monarch, they won't move. They'll stay where they are. Speed system again, just to move it away from fire a little bit quicker when you enter the dredge. And I've gone with Siege Drone Module 2. Couldn't fit Freon because of the weight, but I mean it gets minus 70% weight for your modules. This is going to decoy a hell of a lot of the fire in the dredge. A lot of the javelins I'm talking about there, and even some of the ships will target those over your jugs. So if you drive your Jug X as well, and drive them in sync with your drones, you'll be able to take a dredge for really little damage with this and keep your repairs down. I know a lot of you have dredge fleets, but it's just an alternative. If you're looking for maybe a second dredge fleet, it wouldn't hurt to have 2. Or if your Arbalests, if your Jug X's aren't really performing and you want to mix them up. It's just something to do with them, really. I wouldn't say the build time's too much. What we got? 12 days, 7 hours, and 55 minutes on the Monarch. So you're less than 2 weeks on your Monarch. And then obviously the refit would just include the weapons. I'm guessing speed system would be on your fleet. You might already have MC3. So it's nuclear accelerators, which only takes, I think it was less than half a day, so not very long. And obviously just 2 days and maybe 4 days for the armors on each ship. So, it's just an option there for you. Again, I'll put the post on the page as well, the build, so people can refer to it on the Battle Pirates Crib.
I've actually refit my Jug X with Arbalest cannons. I run a Frosty lead for almost any base that I run in. It's a generic build that most of you guys probably have. But it actually made them viable again. I can actually hit some pretty decent bases with Arbalest Jug X. Mine's a 5-ship fleet in total with the Frosty, but yeah.
I just want to say as well, I've just seen people on chat. I didn't have chat because I was screen sharing. A couple of people say they don't have the Monarch. You can use you could use a Hurricane if you prefer. Obviously, you'd have to look around at the weights, maybe take off one of the Arbalest or something like that on the ships. But if you wanted to use that as a fleet and you didn't have the Monarch, it's still possible.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, siege drones on there. I mean, even piranha drones, if you use them right as well in dredges, they can help you out a load. So, that's less weight again.
That's not a bad build for bases either. If you've got a base which probably doesn't have morts, even if it's got a Wendigo, you can probably still attempt it with that fleet. With the drones decoying the Wendigo and the javelins and executioners, that would work well in bases, I would imagine as well.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely a good fleet for mid-level players, without doubt. It's going to be useful for doing all sorts of stuff really, for doing the Forsaken mission, dredges, hitting some bases. Obviously, you're not going to get very far in proper top-end bases, but it's definitely going to be good for mid-levels, definitely.
Joel on chat's just said, don't forget the Vanguard. You can't actually use the Vanguard with this fleet. You'd lose the Highlander by doing that. And you really can't afford to lose the radiation resistance in the dredges, really. So I wouldn't recommend using a Vanguard.
Right, cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly share a build, if I can. Let's set the screen share up a minute. Let's have a look. So let's go through. There's about 6 million pages open. Right, can we see that one? Frostburn Interceptor and 4 Crusaders. Can you see that, Rob?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
Alright, so basically this is a base hitting fleet that I've come up with. There's a little bit of extra weight in there that you can tinker about and you can change a few bits and pieces, but just to give you the general idea. The reason I've gone for a Frostburn as a lead ship is that it's quite good with the Enforcer charge shedding, so it takes quite a long time to build up a charge before Shockwave, so and you can get a decent amount of evade, 76% in this setup that I've got here, so that's really good. Also, obviously, it stops the Wendigo issue as well, so that's my basic sort of thing. That setup that I've got there, is the reason it's set up like that is because it's sort of a multi-purpose ship. It fits in with a couple of my different fleets. Fits in as a flagship for my Mastodon fleet, and in with my Kodiaks as well. So that's basically just a generalised setup which comes in so useful, so useful during the game. So in various different settings, it's brilliant as a lead on Mastodons for doing dredges and stuff as well. So, I mean, if you've got the Frostburn, if you can set it up like this, just so it can slot into loads of different fleets, it comes in really handy. Basically, I've gone for 4 Crusaders. I've basically set it up with a D5E base on it. You know, if you haven't got the D5E and you've got D4E, you know, that's probably going to do all right as well. What I've done is I've gone for 3 cannons on 4 ships, and then a couple of antis of each. So I've put some phalanx on there, just really for doing your day-to-day chores, like doing the sacred mission and stuff like that, just to reduce a bit of the damage that you're going to take from stuff. I've put on speed system 2, so that it matches the speed, roughly, of my Frostburn. What I've done is I've put heavy plating on the Frostburn to pull down the combat speed, so it fits in with the rest of my fleet. So then, in order to make it all work, what I've done is I've reduced combat speed by using just level 2 of the speed system on the Crusaders, because, you know, 22.6 is plenty combat speed. So that's what I've done there. 3 cannons on each, so you've got 12 across the fleet. You know, it's got a range of 95, so you're going to be killing stuff real quick. 15,600 armor points, 73% missile defense, 50% ballistic, 30 explosive, which you're not really going to worry about too much with the explosive, because in combat speed you're going to be outrunning all the morts and stuff. So really it's just an altogether pretty good build. You just want to make sure that you keep your Frostburn in there, just covering the rest of your ships with the Wendigo, and, you know, stick the nose forward a bit when you get close to enforcers, so that you can take out the enforcers with the Crusaders and not take too much damage. But, you know, I think it's a really good build. Any suggestions on how we can make it any better, guys?
I was thinking something, and someone's pointed out in chat, the combat speed being lower on the Frostburn. You would need to be careful about that when driving if you wanted that to take some of the hits.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you can always pop that out slightly in front before you bring the Crusaders in behind. So, you know, it's all about the driving kind of things. I mean, you could
when it
strip
retros,
off.
does it? Because you're only using speed system 2. Will the strike system overtake the speed on the Crusaders as you retro, or not?
I don't think so, mate. But what you can do with this is you could strip these missiles off here, because there is a little bit of weight left in the fleet, and you could match it slightly better by putting a siege torp on there. Yeah, if you put one of the siege Z torps on there, you can fit one of those on, and that brings it up to pretty much exactly the same. So you could do that as well. It's just personal preference. I mean, with a little bit of driving with it, you know, you can just stop your fleet, bring your Frostburn out a little bit in front, a little bit ahead.
Yeah. And let's not forget you have got decent evade on the Crusaders as well.
Yeah.
So they're going to look after themselves in that respect as well. And you know, you don't want your Frostburn taking all of the hits, because the longer it's alive, the better for extinguishing Wendigos, field of effects, and all the other fire fields and stuff.
Oh, for sure.
In some cases, you know, when I've been hitting bases, I usually pull it onto the inside of the channel, so it takes the initial fire. As it's becoming, you know, almost 50% dead, if it gets to that point, I'll actually pull it onto the other side of the channel and drive it so my Crusaders are taking the hits, so it stays alive.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's always a good idea. You know, the Frostburn's such a good ship that for sure you want to try and keep it alive as long as possible. Yeah, you want to use it to its full potential to get rid of that Wendigo and, you know, take some hits from enforcers and stuff. But you don't always want it to die before anything else. So, you know, just make sure you cycle your ships more than anything, really.
This would be great in dredges as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, this particular build, I've already posted it on the Battle Pirate Squad page, so it is there for you already.
Do you have this built yourself?
I mean, I haven't built it yet myself, no, but a couple of my alliance have got one built. You know, pretty much very similar to this, maybe different setups on the antis and stuff like that. But, you know,
without seeing it, obviously we'll have to test it, but I reckon it would be safe to say you can get 5 judges back to back, at least.
I'm pretty much betting that you're going to be pretty much on the money there.
Well, I'm saying that because I posted a video. Many people might have seen it. It was a Highlander and 4 Crusaders. I did 3 back-to-back with those. But I had an idea this morning when the dredges were out. I pulled one of my Crusaders and used a Frostburn. It hasn't got the weapons to fire on it. It's just a blank ship, very much. So that was only 3 Crusaders, and I did 4 dredges back to back with a bit of life left in me. So with an extra Crusader there and good rotation in the dredge, you'll definitely be able to get 5, maybe even 6. I don't know.
That's pretty much what I run, Rob. I actually overspent and did build a 4-ship fleet, and during the arena I did some refitting and went down to a 3-ship fleet, 3 ships in the Frostburn, because I kept getting owned by 3-ship fleets. So I changed mine, and this is actually what I run. I can get 4 dredges with it. There's barely a base that I haven't taken with it. I mean, it's just an excellent fleet. If you want me to screen share mine, I can. It's my first attempt at screen sharing.
Just talking about extra ships as well. There's nothing wrong with having an extra ship. It's obviously nowadays we've got that much to build. It's kind of almost time consuming to do that. But I remember there was once a day where you would build an extra ship and you would rotate your fleet. So you'd leave one ship out. It would take the most of the damage, from javelins and stuff, like it would now. And then the ship that's most damaged, you take that out, put that on repair, and put the fresh one in, and you can still go out there and hit another base without fully repairing the fleet.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right. You guys want to see this build?
Yeah.
Let me share mine.
Yeah.
Is it working? Can you see mine?
Yeah, we can see your screen. If you just switch across to Huggies, we should be good.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, so this is mine. It's more of a generic Frosty build because I run it with almost all of my basers because it does so well. And I use this in fleet versus fleet too. I try to build my ships to be a good balance, so if they get jumped in the water, they're not just a plain baser. You know what I mean? So again, I do have the B-Torps on here. Help me a lot in the arena. I like going with the Reaver bulkheads in here. Again, it helped me with the arena. Taking shots from Phantom fleets. I could eat a lot more to keep the rest of the fleets alive, rest of the ships alive. 20,000 armor points. I've kind of been doing some playing, and if you have this combination here, the agility system with the fallout armor, it's actually the lightest combination of defense specials that actually still gives you some good stats and points in it. Okay. Sorry. Now this is how I did my Crusaders. 5 Arbalest cannons. Again, I went with the bulkheads and 2 D2Es. Kind of dropped my evade a little bit, as you can see. It's down to 53%. But 21,000 armor. This thing takes a massive beating, guys. 3 ships like this, all 3 of them, Frostburn, level 49 fleet. So this thing's actually been owning quite a bit.
It looks
you guys
quite
want me to post the page, I can too. Also, what'd you say, Steve? I'm sorry.
It looks like an awesome build, mate. It's pretty good. I quite like the fallout armor. Unfortunately, I haven't managed to get it yet. I'm quite pissed off with that, but. Yeah, I mean, definitely, for sure. I mean, especially like a couple of the hand builds and stuff like that I've come up with. It's definitely by far the best combination using agility and the fallout armor. So yeah, really good. Like it a lot, mate.
Yeah, I'm in 155 right now. So ask some of the neighboring sectors. I'm kind of hated with this fleet right now. It hasn't died very often. We'll say that it hasn't died very much.
Is there anything you want to say about the build, Payne?
No, not really. It looks. You're on about Chris's build, yeah?
I'm indeed, mate. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like it. I like the way he's thought about being injured as well. There's a lot of that going on in the game. Having a Frostburn is not a be all and end all. You won't get sniped. People go out there and snipe Frostburns. There are some crazy pirates out there, including myself. I'll hit a Frostburn. I will not back down. I will hit anything. But, you know, there's amount of times I've hit a Frostburn and there's been nothing on it. It's okay having the thermal, but then if you've got morts behind it or you've got cannons behind it, I'm just going to laugh. And I won't even kill your Frostburn. I'll like to see the weapons firing at me and doing nothing. It's pretty funny. So, yeah, I like the way you've got torps on there as well and missiles.
Mr.
Well, I
Bang
ran
made that mistake last week with our alliance. He was losing his Frostburn and Crusader build quite a lot.
I actually I have a Warbird fleet also. I only got 3 of those out of that arena tournament. But I threw the 2 torpedoes apiece on the Warbirds with Locusts, and I run it with that Frosty as the lead. And I've surprised and upset quite a few people. Like I'll not leave hot on purpose, waiting for somebody to jump it if I got a good amount of health bar left, just hoping to get a Phantom fleet to hit it. And I've gotten quite a bit of hate mail on that trick too.
All right, cool. So I've got another build which I wanted to show, which I'll just get up now. Which is
Just before you show this, because the chat's
Yeah.
a bit delayed, I thought it'd be good to throw out if chat has anything to say about the builds we've shown, or if they've got anything they want us to talk about build-wise, so they can be kind of putting that in chat while we go through your next build.
Yeah, that's cool. It's a good idea. So basically, what I've done is I've put together a Goliath build, and it's probably the only time you're ever going to see me use it. It's a museum. Let's find it. So you've got this one. It's just a Goliath build for base defense, really. I mean, you can strip some of the weight out and make it fit, but you get the general idea of it, really. Basically, it's got the same range as the Crusader has with the Arbalest. You know, at R10 you've got the three special slots, which is going to help you a lot. So what I've done is I've loaded it up with 1 bit of bulkhead, just to boost the armor points on it, really, more than anything. I've stuck some D5U on it just to get the resistances up with the heavy plating. And as you can see, I mean, it gives you some really good stats. It gives you like 72% explosive defense, 64 ballistic, 64 missile defense on that. You know, it does a decent amount of damage. You know, 13,020 ballistic damage. You know, if you rank this to skull ranked, that works out to be about 0.9 seconds, I believe. Let's just check that. I think it's about right. Yeah, about 1 second. So, you know, 13,000 damage a second is pretty good. And as we know, the Arbalest will destroy an entire fleet if it's bunched up. So, you know, one of these in your base defense is going to do you a world of good. You know, it's going to put a real hurt in on people.
I've actually fought some bases with those Arbalest cannon Jug X, and R10 they're completely vicious, completely evil.
They are evil. I can guarantee you now that they are extremely evil. You know, they really do put a hurt in on anything that goes in there, and I mean like anything. So you know.
Everything.
You know, you can strip it down to less cannons to get it to fit in to replace an enforcer or something like that. You know, if you were lower level, I mean, these are going to be an absolute godsend for people that are lower level that have, you know, they're reliant on their Goliaths for their base defense. This is going to, you know, put a hurting on people trying to come in and hit your base. So I'll post this build up as well. You know, it's not a big one and all build.
I'm just thinking, if you dropped a couple of the D5U for D4C to combat the Crusaders hitting you,
you could do, yeah. You could do that.
It would also free up a little bit of weight. So, depending on what the rest of your guard is, for example, if you've got another, you know, a Viper or some thermal shipping, you could afford to stick on like a heavier armor to, you know, now we can spot Reapers to ensure you can maybe put a D4P on, or it stops people multi-rocketing as much. If you're into trying to stop a multi-rocketer, you could do that.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, like I said, it's just an all-round build. It's just an idea. You can change it up to get whichever stats you want on it. I was just showing really the fact that with the D5U on here, it gives you some really good stats across the board. 64, 72, 64 is pretty good.
Yeah.
With 29,000, near enough 30,000 armor points. You know, and don't forget at skull rank, these toilets. They're next to nothing to repair as well. So
The reload is insane. You don't need to waste an autoloader. I know you haven't got it on, but if anyone's
no.
thinking why is there not autoloader, it's just not needed.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, without at full rank, 1 second, and they're firing up. That's ridiculous.
One thing to add though, I don't have the build to hand. It's Scotty's build, Scotty from the show.
Yeah.
Me and him were working through a build on his base, and with the way he's set out his base, obviously you don't group these like you said because it's not good with Morts, it's not good with Crusaders hitting you. It's never best to group the ships completely. But if you think about the way you place it, and the first ship you need the anti-pinch on because they're gonna try and pinch that. The way he's got his, he has a Grimwrath as well. So you're going to have to hit that Grimwrath, and that first ship's going to have to fire at you before you reach the second ship. So if you don't pinch that, you're pretty fucked, to be honest. So on the second ship, I advised him not to have anti-pinch and to put autoloader on instead, because when they get to that point in their base attack, they're on the last legs. They're trying so hard, they're pushing through because they've taken so much damage. They probably almost always use their pinch. So he can now fire at them and kill them a little bit quicker. It stops him getting any lucky shots off on his island if they manage to push past, because we know that these cannons are deadly. The last thing you want is for it to pierce through and kill your launch pad or something. So just remember you don't always need anti-pinch, which is weird because I always said anti-pinch is vital on a guard. But if you're clever about your placement, you can afford to drop anti-pinch on one of your 2 Goliaths if you're running 2 of them.
Definitely. Chris, have you got anything else you want to say about that particular build, mate?
Well, I was just going to talk about what Rob was saying about the reload. I actually spent a little bit of coin and used salty dogs in the arena all weekend on my Crusaders. I've got them skull ranked, and they just fire one after the other. It's skull ranked. Those things are going to be ridiculous, the fire rate.
Definitely. I mean, with the bonuses that the R10 Goliath's got as well.
Yeah.
The extra cannon damage and everything else that goes with it, the extra reload rate. The range is the same as the Crusader, so it's an awesome ship for base defense. And
these things are going to be replacing enforcers all over the game. I think. I mean, I'm still going to use enforcers, but I'm going to see a lot of people at least dropping one enforcer for one of these.
Yeah, I dropped to 1 ages ago. I was running 1 enforcer. I still am 1 enforcer with 2 Atlas.
Yeah, I'm.
If mine was R0, I'd probably build one, but God, that seems like a long journey since I never built one to begin with.
Yeah, I don't actually have a Goliath in mind, and I don't have plans to put it in. So, if people are out there and haven't got this weapon, the Goliath isn't always needed. I'm stopping fleets just as good without a Goliath. I'm using 2 Atlases with a new UAV. That new Locust UAV is deadly as well. That really is ranked up. It's amazing. I'm loving mine with power cells as well. So I don't want people to think that I haven't got the Goliath, I haven't got the Arbalest, so therefore I'm fucked. There's light at the end of the tunnel. Even without the Arbalest, if you don't have an enforcer and you manage to pick up, and I think the Goliath's actually in one of the campaigns. Am I right in saying so?
I believe so.
I
know Rampart is.
I think it's in one of the higher ones, like Death Grip or something. Just have a look to my games open.
Yeah, mine needs
if you could,
refresh.
The bypass chain gun is really good. If you can use the bypass chain gun instead, that even level 2, fill a Goliath up with those, and you're gonna kill shit as well.
Yeah.
It's in Boiling Seas price pack 1, so you get a 12-hour window to get that. You win a Goliath, Agility System 1, Heavy Plating 1, and Countermeasure Equipment 1.
So I've got one more build I want to share with people for people who haven't got the Crusader as a base hitter. So can you see this one?
You're not up yet.
You're
not up yet, Steve. There you go.
It's there.
There we go. Right, cool. Let's go back if we can find it. Right, so same again, same Frostburn setup as last time. What all it is I've changed out Crusaders for SCXs. Because you only get three slots on your SCXs. The evade It's slightly less. It's only like 55.7%, but it's not really that major of a deal. You know, with the amount of armor points you've got there, and if you drive right, and the amount of firepower you've got, you're looking exceptionally good on there, really. So, you know, you can fit 4 cannons on each, so you've got 16 cannons across the fleet. Your protection's pretty good. 67 missile, 62 ballistic, 40 explosive, and 50% radioactive defense. So you're really good with this. You know, your evade's 55.7. Your combat speed's very similar again. It's 22.66 if you've got R15 on your engine systems, which matches out pretty well with the Frostburn again. So, you know, if you've not got the Crusader, and you've only got the weapon, it's not the end of the world. You can stick it on strike cruisers, still have the same range, you know, and you're looking pretty good on the reload and stuff like that. So, I mean, like, if you rank these up fully, it's 0.9 seconds, the reload time on the Arbalest at skull rank. So, you know, it's just another option for people that haven't got the Crusader. I mean, would you recommend this to people if they haven't got it?
I think you're nuts in the arena. I did a build myself on an SCX, and mine is pretty much identical to yours, Earth. You know, I did my same generic Frosty that I have for my last build, and the only difference that I did on mine is instead of your MC3 there, I did the Fallout armor.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't got the Fallout armor, and you know, most people have got the MC3 armor, so
Right.
that's pretty much what the reasoning behind me using it. You know, and
yeah, like I said, that's the only difference in the build that I use, that you're using, and what I just put up here. And these things were even tearing up my my Crusaders in the arena, which is another reason I went down to that 3-ship build to throw those bulkheads and get some more armor out of it.
I think
a lot of the
you
reason
can put bulkheads on
started
there.
that refit was these SCXs.
yeah, I mean, you put some bulkhead on there and get rid of the antlers on there, and
Well, even
change the armor up a bit.
the evade's only 56% anyway, so you could probably take
make
off
it a
one,
tank.
put a D5, put a bulkhead. What is that? Does that keep in weight?
Yeah, you probably.
I was talking about doing the bulkhead on my Crusaders. I did bulkhead on my Crusaders because these fleets were kicking my butt in the arena. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, well, bulkhead would work on these. I think.
Well, yeah.
The armor would be greatly appreciated. The extra bonus.
So let's copy that across. So yeah, if you got rid of the phalanxes on there, I think you can fit one bit of bulkhead in there. I think just about. Yeah. So yeah, you only still got 741 to play with.
The only thing I would say is remember what we've got coming. In what 2 weeks today, we've got the raid coming, haven't we?
We have, yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to confirm. The reason I said 2 weeks today is because it's 1:45 in the morning. So for the Americans, it's 2 weeks tomorrow. But yeah, basically 2 weeks time, we've got a raid coming. It is a whole store, as it's been confirmed already on Kickstarter's site. So I just want to say to people, don't commit to a build if you are thinking it will do until I get. So that's not just on this; it's on anything. If you're going to build this because it will do until you can win Crusaders, or if you're going to build nuke cruisers because they will do until you win V2Cs, or whatever you're thinking about building, don't commit to that build just yet, because you'll probably find it's going to be in the whole store, and you can get yourself a bigger fleet, a better fleet, something that will be more long lasting. And in the meantime, you can catch up on a couple of refits that you might be missing on. There's always some fine tuning I find on any fleet that I've got in my dock that I can tweak.
Realistically, the SGX is a fleet that quite a lot of people are going to have already built. It's just an extra way of making it more useful than it was before the Arbalest, really.
It would still be useful.
It's a kick-ass ship, especially now that they've brought the Arbalest out. And I was contemplating building some myself. I got rid of my SGXs, but I'm thinking about building them again. But a lot of people are running SGXs with launchers on. Change your launchers out and get some Arbalests on there if you've got if you've got the the time
People
to
did
do it.
that? They put launchers on them?
I know a lot of people who did. I know Tyler was one of them.
Well,
Yeah, I've
Tyler's a
seen
noob.
it.
That's why we had him on the show.
Yeah. So I mean, there's loads of different builds that people have got with SCXs. Get them dusted off and get some Arbalests on there and get out hitting bases with them because they're awesome. It's basically my sentiment on it.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got a little bit of time left. Not very much, but we've got a bit. What I was going to suggest is that we talk a little bit about the raid.
Yeah.
About what's going to be happening in the raid if people don't know what's going on. Basically, during the raid, where you now have a draconian sector influence bar, it's going to turn into a Reaver one at the start of the raid. And as you reduce the Reaver's influence on the sector, you're going to get more points in the raid for hitting the raid targets that you're hitting. You're also going to have an opportunity to unlock different pages for prizes that you can win, from what I understand. And then once you've depleted it as a sector, once you've depleted the Reaver influence, you're going to have the opportunity to hit Reaver occupied Drac bases with a chance to win a special prize that's ultra rare in the past. So, get out there, get it done. If you allied with a few different alliances or something, get yourselves all in the same sector so you can get that bar down quickly, get some extra points, help each other out, get a bit of community spirit going, get yourself
Or hire a
sorted.
mercenary, 'cause I need gold.
It's gonna be an awesome raid. So, and you're gonna get masses of uranium from hitting the Reaver occupied bases. So, it's all gonna be fun. It's gonna be loads of fun. Just make sure you try and work it together a bit and get that influence down because it's gonna help you out a lot.
Yeah, I just want to confirm for anyone who's got doubts, it is the sector, not the alliance. So if it's it's like how the dredges work, very much, isn't it? That's the best way to describe it.
It is, yeah.
The sector influence, like if my alliance is sector leader, the whole sector or anybody outside of the sector coming into that sector gets the extra uranium from that said dredge. Likewise, if we go to a sector that doesn't have sector influence, we get less uranium than we do from our sector. So in the raid, the map targets then, if I go to a sector that's not got their influence captured, am I going to get less points from theirs or not? Not that would happen. I mean, I can't think of anyone who would go to a different sector. But what I'm saying is, if someone's a lower level, in a small, quiet sector somewhere that's got no chance of winning their sector over, can they jump across to another sector and get more points?
Not sure how it's going to work with that. All that we do know is that it is gonna get you more points if in the sector that you're in, if the Reaver influence is down. So
I mean, this is only speculation, so don't take this as Payne Train's a liar. He said we'd get extra points, but it sounds like it's going to work just like dredges in that sense. So I think it would work like that.
yeah.
Damn it, Payne, lying to us.
Would I lie to you?
I just want to ask in chat if anybody has anything they want to ask. Just whilst we've got a little bit of time left. Obviously, we'll.
What do you guys think of them releasing the Proto-Nemesis in this raid for a prize? What are your thoughts on that? I'm like, man,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure whether that's going to be it or whether it's not, or whether it's going to be like an uprated Proto-Nem or not. But the thing is, the Proto is quite an outdated ship now. It's not what it used to be, is it?
Yeah.
It's not. Is it going to be a prize? It's not going to be a prize as such where you get X amount of points, is it? Is it going to be more like you hit this? Was it like some kind of Reaver base or something? I don't know if it's confirmed or speculation, but sounds like they're going towards some kind of Reaver version of a drag base. They said 4 players can hit it together, just like a drag base. Is it just going
to be? From what I understand, it's going to be like the drag bases, but they're all going to be doubled at the start, and then once you deplete the Reaver's influence, they're all going to pop, basically.
Yeah,
That's
so it
what the
sounds like
electrified force field's going to be all about.
maybe it's going to be a Reaver version of a drag base, and they might increase the drop rate for the Nemi, or whatever it might be, even if it's
My question to
an
that,
altered
though,
version.
is when you're in a draft base, only one player gets the blueprint. So if I'm sitting there hitting with 3 of my buddies in a base and somebody gets a proto drop, do we all get it, or is it going to be the random luck of the draw again?
I reckon it would be a random luck, but
Yeah.
to be honest, I think it's for anyone who's got a proto, and Miranda's just said it on there. I'm in her alliance, and I know who she's talking about. These people are pretty pissed at the moment. They've worked hard, well, they haven't necessarily worked. Well, they have worked hard. They would have grinded away at drag bases for, however long to get these to get the Nemesis, and they've built it. They spent a lot of time building it, just as much time repairing it when they less frequently hit it, and then now it's like more available. It kind of devalues it, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's always been one of those things that everybody's wanted to have because it is so rare. Obviously we don't know what the situation's going to be with it. I mean, I can't see it being any more than 1 drop per sector, to be honest.
What I'm thinking is, if they are going to do this and start letting people win the proto in the raid, they've got to come out with some kind of a new ultra rare, like must-have, uber hull like that.
I can
There's
imagine
gotta be
that
something.
Well, there's a new faction coming, so maybe something will be coming with them.
Yeah.
There you go, Rob. Yeah.
I mean, who knows what's going to happen? Look at how much the game changed with, in the last 12 months of Battle Pirates. We've gone, the Drax have really changed from. I would argue they had a mix of weapons. They tend to use a lot of missiles, ballistics even as well. Pretty much a wide variety. From a range of MCXs, battle cruisers, dreads, that kind of thing in the raids and targets. And then suddenly they kind of changed. They upped the game by bringing out radiation with the Reavers, and then all the Reavers came out. God, they were fast when they first came out. They still are fast, aren't they? And a lot of speed, a lot of ballistics. Rush fleets came back into the game with rockets and stuff, and then the Drax came back with all the launchers, and it's become a game of fire and ice pretty much. So I'm really interested to see what this new faction is going to bring, and is it going to kill off the blitz from Reavers? Is it going to kill off all the nuclear stuff, or is it going to add to that? And can you imagine what it's going to do to all the older fleets, like Mort fleets and missile fleets? Again, they're going to probably get killed off just like MCX and DNX did. Imagine how useful a Kodiak fleet's going to be in 6 months' time.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting for sure.
I'm really glad mine at this.
I mean, hopefully all of our stuff will still be relevant in 6 months' time. Whether it is or not is a different matter. One thing I will say though is that our friends over at the EP Info blogspot have released some prelim stuff that was leaked in the game code, saying that the new hull from the raid is going to be a mortar flagship, and there's going to be a mortar available. So it looks like mortars are going to make a comeback as well, hopefully.
All I'm going to say now on that is 2 words: negotiator, hellhound. Anyone who's got them, unlucky. Because it sounds like you're going to need to refit them now.
Yeah, I know. I've just finished building mine as well. I'm not even ranked.
I heard it was actually cheap as well, for someone who's not going to coin that fleet.
What? It's not my fault. I was forced into it. I wasn't very happy.
Will Harbin himself forced you. I know we're kind of running out of time here. Should we talk about road
Peer
crews?
pressure.
You can talk about road crews.
Yeah. Now,
Show off a little bit.
I know I'm not going to be the kick-size suck-up. I'm just going to out and say this. You've changed the way road crews dropped. In particular, Bullseye Brigade. It's not just me who's seen it. It's not just the other 2 on the panel who's seen it. It's the whole
Everybody
game. Everyone who regularly uses this crew has noticed a massive change. And I don't know if the whole game's noticed. I know some people are saying yes. A lot of my alliance are saying yes. There's a couple who are like, well, I haven't noticed it. legendary crews are really popular. To say they're an uncommon crew, or legendary even. And I'm just going to screen share and show the people watching what I showed you at the start of the show.
If you haven't noticed the difference, you're not rolling crews. Bottom line.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we've got it up.
Okay, so I went and hit a base the other day, and I had to get a Fearless Blitzers to prep for my subfleet because I needed to boost myself around his channel a bit faster. These are the crews I had upon starting. I've only just started rolling. I probably rolled, how many was it, 4 times already before I got to this point?
Yeah.
And it just amazes me how many crews I got in what was less than 5,000 uranium rolled. And of course I'm rolling the top tier. Here we go. It starts off with the cutthroats. So, of course I accepted that. I rolled once to get a mortar head. Rerolled. Immediately get a Disciples of Skullduggery. So, brilliant. I'll take that. I'll roll again. Another mortar heads. Didn't want that. So I'll roll again. Well, it's another Disciples of Skullduggery. So I roll again. And I get a Junkyard Dogs. So I thought, take that. It's useful for my guard. The extra explosive defense is really useful. Bear in mind, I'm trying to get a Fearless Blitzers. That's all I needed. Grease Monkeys. Brilliant. Use that in the raid. And I filled myself on crews. So, dismissed the crew that I didn't need the most, re-rolled, and I think the first roll was the one I needed, so I kept it. Yeah. And then went out and probed the base. That's a story for another day. But look how quick I got those crews. And no bullseye. And just as an example, the other day in the arena, I rolled 40k in uranium to get bullseye. I got 2 DOS crews, not a single bullseye. And I noticed a lot of people were using DOS in the arena, so I'm guessing it's a common thing. I just want to know what the hell is going on with road crews, because they're saying that everything's working as intended. Unless they intended to screw us out of bullseyes, then I would argue that's not happening.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. It's just, well, I can't understand it really. A lot of people use bullseye brigade crews, whether it's something to do with the fact that so many people use them and they want you to spend some more uranium to get it or not. Even if that was their intention to make it more rare because people use it all of the time, at least turn around and tell us. Don't let us just sit there and think, oh yeah, it's right, I'll get one in a minute. Because it's just getting ridiculous.
Or make the bullseye crew maybe a little bit better, like some other stat, and then call it a legendary crew. I mean, you can't just leave it the way it is, and all of a sudden it's just not showing up anymore, and it's supposed to be uncommon when you can roll 2 legendaries before you get one.
I don't know if anyone else has noticed this. Can anyone remember Crypt Keepers and the pattern that they took? They were really hard to get.
Yeah.
For ages they were. How long you would be rolling for in the raid to get that Crypt Keepers. And then what happened? They pulled the crew. They felt like they turned it down so much, and then they said, you know what, let's just take the crew out. I have a feeling, I'm going to say it, you heard it here first, I've got a feeling that bullseye is going to be gone in a month's time. I don't think we're going to have a bullseye. It's just speculation, nothing official on that, it's just me saying so. I think that's the direction it looks like they're taking, and I'd rather them just up front and say it now, so we're not wasting 50k uranium. People are going to be pissed, I'm going to be pissed if they do it. But I'd rather them say it now before people invest in money and time to build missile fleets or bullseye brigade dependent fleets. Just be honest and tell us. Tell us what your intentions are.
I mean, what I've noticed is a massive increase in the mortar heads crew. So, obviously,
it's all the time.
You're getting it like every second roll, whether that's got something to do with the fact that they're bringing mortars back into the game, and so they've brought that in and replaced the frequency of the bullseye brigade with the mortar heads. Because mortar heads you didn't used to get very often, did you? I think they might have switched the 2 out so that the frequency is different because there's going to be more mortars in the game coming up.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like, I think Larry said something about this a couple of weeks ago about how they tweak things, depending on how the game's going, and they try and push a certain path, don't they?
Yeah.
I'm certainly seeing a lot of Molotov maidens, a lot of mortar heads, and a lot of Phyllis blitzers, which is pointing towards what? Crusaders and negotiator hounds. And then in the raid, I really did see a hell of a lot of radar runners. I was rolling radar runners every 2 or 3 rolls. And it's almost like they were saying to you, build a large pinch, you know?
No, what they were saying was coin a large pinch, coin a large
Well,
pinch.
yeah. That's what I had to say.
So,
Give me money!
so really,
Just before we move on from crews, I want to say another thing about them which really ticks me off. If you're rolling a 500 crew or 300 to reroll, I don't think you should be rolling for common crews in that. I think they have the uncommon crews, which are already there, and the legend crews at whatever rate they're coming out. I don't think you should be able to roll them. I rolled 4 back to
Yeah,
back
if I spend
earlier on.
500 and get a salty, I get pissed.
Yeah, I rolled four rerolls back to back, and I think it was 2 Dragon Slayers, a Salty Dogs, and a Warfrats. I don't want them. If I wanted them, I would have spent 100, not 500.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite willing, if you turn around to me and say I can go and buy a certain crew, I'd be quite happy to spend sort of like 8k on an oncoming, and I'd be happy to spend 25k for a legendary, even 50k.
I've said this
on a
before on the
legendary.
show.
To pick which one I want to
You're
have.
not going to get legendary crew rolling hundreds. You know what I mean? That's just not going to happen. So why is it possible to happen on the other end?
It would be good if they did that, allowed that. I was just seeing Miranda again on the chat. She says we need new crews. How do you feel about having new crews involved in the game?
I think they definitely need an update. Most of the crews now, with the extra perks that are involved with them, they're all sort of dated ships now, but aren't really used a lot. So they need a bit of a spruce up, need a bit of a birthday.
I mean, there's that death from above.
Yeah.
I think that death from above is 2, 3, 4 months too late. It would have been great. Imagine when the Atlases came out and how many people had Grim Atlas fleets. That death from above would have kept them going a little bit longer.
Yeah, well, you say that though, but with the Locust UAVs,
it's still good, but
my Locust Warbirds are just nasty, eating up bases all over. The Locust is actually a very, very powerful weapon in a base.
now I wonder if I throw out this Dragon Slayers road crew, how many people upon hearing that know what that is? Because I was talking about it on TeamSpeak earlier today, and I was like,
Is it an extra 50% Synthium from salvage?
100% more Zinfium and 15% rank bonus on all Draconian hulls. It's still got a use. If you haven't got any other road crew, it's better than nothing. That extra 15% rank on any Draconian ship, don't forget that has its use. But, I said it on TeamSpeak. I was like, I've rolled 2 Dragon Slayers back to back. And everyone was like, Dragon Slayers? What's one of them? And when I said plus 100% Zinfium.
When you click past ignore all the time.
That was brilliant when level 6 walls came out. I was using them and filling up on Zinth to do my walls, and I think that's the only time I've ever used it.
Yeah. Well, anyway, guys, I think that's pretty much us for tonight. Thank you very much for coming. We do appreciate it. We will make sure that all of the builds are posted on the Battle Pirates Squid page. So if you're not on that page, it's facebook.com/the Battle Pirates Squid. So get yourself in there.
I want to throw out a birthday celebration as well to Low Dog in PNLS. And now I've said that, to keep it fair and balanced for all, he's in Sector 4, above the West Tower, so he needs a birthday beating, if anyone wants to do it. Sorry, Low Dog, mate, but it's got to be done.
So, yeah, thank you very much for coming, guys. We shall see you on Friday for a get-together. We're not really sure what we're going to have to chat about. We might just have a little bit of a hangout. But I'll post it up in the next day or so, and see where we go from there. Don't forget, you're always welcome to come on the panel on a Friday. The Friday show is your show. It's all about you. It's not about us. So if you want to be on it, don't forget to just drop us a message in Battle Pirates Crib, or you can PM any one of us that's on the show. So. And let us know, and we can hook you up. Want to say a big thank you to Chris Thank you very much, mate, for coming. Really appreciate
No,
it.
my
And
friend.
also say,
Thank you for having
no,
me.
Chris, we haven't forgot about Rick.
Rig
Rick's still
Pig's
here.
at Taekwondo, so there's Rig
He's not.
Pig.
He's right here.
There we
That's
go.
a scary thought.
Panda's currently with. I'm guessing
He's gone on holiday with
Professor.
the professor. So he's on holiday with the professor at
That's
the minute.
a scarier
Keep
thought.
Professor warm.
Right, guys. So we shall see you Friday. Thank you very much for coming, and we're out. Catch you later.
Pillage and plunder. We're out.